Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Anekan, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibikunle. Let's take a look at the headlines. Buhari arrives Ebonyi State for a 2-day working visit. Ibikunle Omosun joins list of presidential aspirants, declares interest. Plus, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky asks for help from the UN. Details of these stories and more in a moment. We begin our news this afternoon with a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived at Ebonyi State for a 2-day working visit to the state. President Buhari, who was received by Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi, his Enugu Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, and other officials of government, will inaugurate the ultra-modern King David University of Medical Sciences, Uburu, with adjoining roads and flyover, as well as the newly constructed presidential lounge, Abakaliki, I beg your pardon. Reports say security has been beefed up in Abakaliki, Ebonyi capital, as security personnel can be seen within the metropolis in anticipation for the president's visit. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the murder of 2 soldiers, Gloria Matthew and Audu Linus, in Imo State by gunmen. In a statement issued by the spokesperson, Garba Shehu, President Buhari described the killing of the soldiers as a barbaric and alien act. In another development, UN Chief Antonio Guterres has called for more resources to help Nigeria meet the humanitarian needs of people affected by conflict after concluding his 2-day mission to Nigeria. Guterres, who made the remarks after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja, has called for an additional $351 million as part of the overall $1.1 billion for humanitarian response plan for Nigeria. Buhari, who reiterated his government's commitment to fighting terrorism, also calls for international assistance to end extremism. Guterres visited a rehabilitation center for victims of Boko Haram and an internally displaced persons IDPs camp in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State.
We have called for an additional $351 million as part of the overall $1.1 billion for the humanitarian response plan for Nigeria. But despite all they have seen and endured, the people I met remain hopeful and committed to returning to their communities and resuming their lives.
Meanwhile, President Buhari says Nigeria remains grateful to the United Nations and some world leaders on their partnership in fighting terrorism. The president said the spotlight on Russia and Ukraine could have easily distracted the world from other pertinent global challenges. In a related development, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for the prosecution of perpetrators of terrorism in Nigeria. Guterres said the UN was adopting a victim-centered approach to tackling the menace in the country. On legislative matters, the House of Representatives has again called on President Muhammadu Buhari to end the current security crisis across the country and protect lives and property. The call was made as the Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Wase, observed that the replacement of the service chiefs has yielded no results and prayed the House to urge President Buhari as a matter of urgency to set up a national task force on national security to specifically address rampant cases of banditry, insurgency and kidnapping. The House, in a voice vote, asked the President to utilize all the security arms of government to ensure a definite end to the problem of insecurity. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has been urged to sign the Nigeria Hunters and Forest Security Service (NHFSS) bill into law to save the country from insecurity. Commander of the Kebbi State chapter of the Nigerian Hunters Council (NHC), Hussein Musa Rambo, made the call in a chat with newsmen in Birnin Kebbi, the Kebbi State capital. Meanwhile, former President Goodluck Jonathan has described the late President Umaru Yar'Adua as a selfless leader and peacemaker. Jonathan, on his official Facebook page in commemoration of the 12 years of Yar'Adua's death, said he was committed to justice, equity, and won laurels for Nigeria in terms of peace and other worthy causes he successfully pursued. Now to politics, where former governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle has declared his intention to contest for president of Nigeria at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, Central Business District, Abuja. The former Senator Amosun joins the likes of Adams Oshimole, former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, who have also recently declared their interest to contest for president in 2023. The APC Special Presidential Convention is scheduled to hold from Monday, May 30th to Wednesday, June 1st. Still on politics, where the All Progressives Congress APC National Working Committee NWC has adjusted its timetable for the 2023 electoral process. In a statement issued by the party's National Publicity Secretary Felix Moka, the spokesman said the sale of expression of interest and nomination forms has been extended to Tuesday, May 10. The last date for submission of completed forms and accompanying documents is now Wednesday, May 11th. Additionally, the congresses to elect local government, state and national delegates will now be held from Thursday, May 12th to Saturday, May 14th. Meanwhile, former Lagos State Governor and presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, has described the increasing number of aspirants vying for the party's presidential ticket as a plus for Nigeria's democracy. Tinubu said this after meeting with the President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. While responding to a question from journalists on the increasing number of presidential aspirants in the APC, Tinubu said, "The more the merrier. The more they come, the more challenging it becomes for you to think deeply, focus on issues, and be ready to serve Nigeria." In another development, Inspector General of Police IGP Usman Alkali Baba has upgraded the Nigeria Police Crime and Incident Database (NPC) and IDB Center to enhance investigations and strategic operational and tactical planning. The improved platform will in turn facilitate easy identification of suspects, crime location, modus operandi, global positioning system (GPS), and geolocate crimes, among others. Force spokesman CSP Muyiwa Adejobi, who made the disclosure in Abuja, pointed out that the move followed the sophistication of criminals who now apply technology to perpetrate their nefarious activities. Back here, Minister of Niger's Delta Affairs and immediate past governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio, has promised to undertake an uncommon infrastructure transformation across the country if elected as the president of Nigeria come 2023. Senator Akpabio made the promise during his official declaration to run for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC. Akpabio, while vowing to deliver an uncommon leadership to Nigerians, charged youth and the APC to give him a chance to transform the country. Our correspondent completes the rest of the report.
On Wednesday, the Ikotegbeni Mini Stadium in Akwa Ibom State was filled to brim, following the official declaration of the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs and former governor of the state, Senator Godswill Akpabio, to join the 2023 presidential race.
I'm here very determined to pay a debt of gratitude to our dear nation, to all of you, for the various opportunities you gave me to serve in high offices of public trust. I'm determined not to let our nation sink, but I'm determined to make you drink from the deep well of experiences I have acquired in those public offices. Therefore, I, Senator Dr. Godswill Akpabio, hereby declare my intention to seek the nomination of my great party, the All Progressive Congress, to become not just a candidate, to become your next president come 2023.
There's a general conversation now on the issue of where are we in Nigeria? The issue of transformational leadership, the issue of a new Nigeria which is founded, on liberty, freedom. We should all come together and create the attitudinal shift to make sure that we buy into this project, and then it will go.
I've seen this man coming out victorious, and there's no doubt about that, because his legacies, his past legacy is going to speak volume for him.
The occasion drew eminent personalities and representatives of the All Progressives Congress from different states of the Federation to declare their support for the senator. Hansen Oko, Spectrum Television News.
In Africa, Mali has declared that France no longer has a legal basis for carrying out military operations in the country after Bamako quit key defense agreements. The announcement on Malian television came after the junta walked out of several agreements underpinning French and European missions in the jihadist hit state. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop says that it would take 6 months for the formal end of a 2014 Defense Cooperation Agreement with France to take effect. However, the legal end of agreements signed in 2013 and 2020 on France Barkhane and Euros Takuba operations in Mali applied immediately. Still in Africa, Conakry's public prosecutor appointed by Guinea's ruling junta in 2021 has announced charges against former President Alpha Condé and some 30 former senior officials under his presidency, including assassinations, torture and kidnapping. Among the personalities targeted by the prosecution and appearing on a list communicated to journalists by the prosecutor Alfonso Charles Wright are a former president of the Constitutional Court, former president of the Assembly, a former prime minister and a host of former ministers, deputies and security service officials. According to the magistrate, these proceedings were launched following a complaint by the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution, FNDC, a collective that led for months from October 2019 the protest against a third term of Alpha Condé. The repression of this protest, often brutal in this country, accustomed to political violence, has resulted in dozens of deaths, almost all civilians. On the foreign scene, United Nations data says 7 journalists had been killed in Ukraine, while many had been facing unprecedented danger and even targeted while performing their work. According to reports, Russia's war against Ukraine have been made easier by the silencing of critical voices. Still to come in the news, Falconets to know opponents today as draw holds in San Jose. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has asked the UN Secretary General for help to rescue the remaining injured Ukrainians at the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol. In a phone call, Zelensky thanked Antonio Guterres for his efforts to secure evacuations earlier this week. On our business news, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries has revised the demand for crude oil in 2022 downward, following the concerns around global economic growth. OPEC Secretary General Sanusi Bakindo, who announced this at the 62nd meeting of the Joint Technical Committee via video conference, also stated that global oil demand growth for 2021 remains similar to last month at 5.7 million barrels per day, but 2022 growth has been revised down by 0.5 million barrels per day to stand at 3.7 million barrels per day. Bakindo noted that given the uncertainties on the supply side and that OPEC 10 crude oil spare production capacity stood at around 3 million barrels per day, or roughly 3.3% of global demand, it is positive to hear that the Caspian Pipeline Consortium is set to resume full exports after almost 30 days of disruptions following repairs on one of its key loading facilities. Meanwhile, the prices of crude oil rose by 4% after the European Union unveiled plans to phase out imports of Russian oil as part of sanctions for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Reports say Brent crude futures rose $3.99 or 3.8% to $108.96 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose $4.05 or 4% to $106.46 a barrel. The developments came immediately after the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen proposed a phased oil embargo on Russia over its war in Ukraine, as well as sanctioning Russia's top bank in a bid to deepen Moscow's isolation. It is expected to intensify efforts to bring down high inflation by raising interest rates and reducing its balance sheet. Presently, any increase in oil price will favor Nigeria, which relies majorly on oil for its revenue. On our health news, the Joint United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS and the World Health Organization have called for better integration of HIV and mental health care services, noting that it would help improve quality of life. The UN agencies made the call in publication launched, noting that while patients with mental health conditions are at higher risk of getting infected with HIV, individuals who live with HIV also have a higher risk of developing mental health conditions. The director of WHO's Department of Mental Health and Substance, Delver Kestel, said integrated approaches for HIV and mental health will lead to better health outcomes overall, well-being and quality of life. Still in health, a non-governmental organization, Rising Child Foundation, says about 200 cases of domestic violence against women and girls were recorded in Kwara between January and March of 2022. The head of the foundation, Taibat Hussein, who disclosed this at a news conference to launch the Kwara Gender-Based Violence (GBV) project in Ilorin, said that the State Command of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) and the National Human Rights Commission has raised the alarm over the growing incidents of violence against women in the state. Hussein, who quoted NSCDC, was saying that it received reports of gender-based violence, GBV, almost daily in the state, also called on the government and other relevant stakeholders to invest in capacity building for GBV service providers to meet the increasing demand for support by the victims. In sports, Nigeria's under-20 women national team, Falconets, will today know their group opponents at this year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup finals, when the draw ceremony holds at the Teatro Nacional, the National Theatre in San Jose, Costa Rica. All the 16 participating countries at the tournament, scheduled for August 10 to 28, are now known, with Nigeria's Falconets and Ghana's Black Maidens flying Africa's flag. Today's draw ceremony coincides with the 100 Days to Go special event of this year's championship, which has slogan Vamos Juntas, which means let's do this together. Nigeria has been placed in pot 2 for the purpose of the draw. Spain is the defending champion after beating Mexico 2-1 in the 2018 final in Montevideo, Uruguay. Meanwhile, New Zealand picked the bronze medals. Still in sports, Real Madrid yesterday produced a late comeback against Manchester City to set up a Champions League final against Liverpool. This happened as Karim Benzema's extra-time penalty winner gave them an incredible 6-5 aggregate win over City. On our entertainment news, American rapper Post Malone is expecting his first child with longtime girlfriend. The rapper, who made the big news known during a chat, expressed his excitement for the new addition, stressing that it was time to take care of his body and family. Reports say the 26-year-old rapper had hosted family and friends to a party last weekend to celebrate the big news. Meanwhile, South African media personality Bonang Matiba has been confirmed as the co-host for the 8th African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards, AMVCA. Africa Magic unveiled the South African star alongside long-standing host Ike Osakidua ahead of the ceremony slated for May 14th. Confirming the awards, Executive Head of Content and West Africa Channel's MultiChoice Nigeria, Busala Tejumola, said Africa Magic is excited to have Bonang join Ike as co-host for the 8th edition of the AMVCAs, as they are both extremely talented and have attained continental acclaim, having hosted some of Africa's biggest shows. Reacting to Africa Magic's announcement, the award-winning media personality said it is always an honor to host live productions. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Aniek, and thanks for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your day.